Welcome to the Buffalo MBB show. Our first inaugural guest, our man, CJ Massenburg. I got to give you a round of applause, man. It's just great to have you here, CJ. A legend here at Buffalo. You've been working hard with our guys all summer, and it means the world to us as a staff. But just want to kick off, man. First, tell us from Dallas, Texas, right? And how did you get to Buffalo?
Yeah, man. Just first giving honor to the guy who's the head of my life. And I just want to thank you guys for having me and allowing me to work out with the guys, get in shape before I go overseas. But yeah, man, growing up in Dallas, it was a little rough, but I was thankful that I had two good parents who were strict, who made sure that, you know, me and my siblings was always doing the right things on the right path. You know, as a kid, you kind of rebel a little bit, but I was always the type of kid that, you know, who wanted to do right, you know, was eager to, you know, make my parents proud, make my siblings proud. So I think that kind of stuck with me. But it's a lot of crowds that, you know, were distracting and, you know, that will try to pull you, you know, to do wrong. And, you know, it's gangs, it's, you know, girls or whatever. But I always knew what I wanted to do in life. I knew that basketball was my love and my passion. And then that kind of kept me with tunnel vision. And so I was able to rule out those distractions and, you know, get to where I'm at today.
That's awesome. Yeah. And so going through all that, obviously, you know, you could just tell how much faith you have on a daily basis, getting to see you a lot this summer. Faith is really important to you. Your family's really important to you. And, you know, so obviously to take that next step, leaving home to get to Buffalo, how was that transition for you? How did you end up here? You know, I mean, I think people know your story a little bit, but it's good to retell it. It's good for our guys to hear it. How did you get here to Buffalo?
Yeah, so, you know, most guys, they play AAU their junior year. It's their last year of AAU. They usually sign with a team or a college. But my path was a little different. So going into the live period, my junior year, I had about 5 offers. And then I had like low major schools. I'm not going to name them, but so I go into the live period and then I have a terrible live period. I play bad, you know, in front of the scouts or whatever. And so now that the live period is kind of ending and I felt that I didn't play up to my potential, I try to hurry up and capitalize on my one of my offers. And so I called the school. I'm like, hey, I want to commit. And I was expecting man, congratulations, we'd love to have you. But I didn't get that. I got I don't know. The head coach isn't too sure right now. And then I was just like kind of, okay, I accepted that. They ended up, you know, revoking that offer, and that crushed me. And I didn't even try the other 4 offers because they all were there. And so broke down into tears. And then so I just went into my senior season with determination to show, you know, that I'm a Division I player. And had a really good senior year. And then afterwards, still nobody called. And I felt like if it was a time to do it, it would be the AAU scene. So I ended up playing as an unsigned senior in AAU. And, you know, the top guys don't really do that. And so it was kind of a ego hit, you know, but I stayed humble through it. And I just kept pushing. And then I had a really good showing. And then a coach from Louisiana Tech called and said, hey, we really like you, but we don't really got any scholarship offers available at your position. You know, we're kind of trying to get a big. But at the time, Buffalo was looking. And then that coach and Jim Weissel was good friends. And then so he called Jim Weissel and recommended me. And then so they didn't see me play. Buffalo didn't see me play, but they called me up on a visit. And then when I got to the visit, still had to work out against another guy who was trying to get a scholarship. And then I ended up doing pretty good in the workout, and then they ended up offering me a scholarship. So that's how I ended up at Buffalo. Crazy story. And then the rest is history.
I mean, that's, you know, it's incredible, and everybody's path. We talk about it with our guys, man, and everybody's path's a little different. And sometimes your opportunity comes in the least expected way, but then it's all about making the most of it. And obviously, to your credit, I mean, you made the most of every single second you were here at Buffalo. If I could just go through some of the accolades, and everybody knows it who's part of our UB basketball family, but all MAC freshman team, on a MAC team every year of your career, honorable mention where you missed games in your second year, first team for 2 years, MAC Player of the Year. And then also, you know, what I would say this, and the beauty of it all is with all that individual success, your teams had great success.
Yep.
You went to NCAA tournaments, won games against some really good opponents in the tournament, and really, really helped. You were a catalyst for our program to go to that next level. Just tell us a little bit about that whole journey. You know, when you were here at Buffalo, and you know you had to grow, right? Yeah. And you were able to grow. And times are different now, right? We all know this. Times are a little different with the portal, NIL. However, I think the beautiful thing that your team did, and I'd love for you to talk about some of these guys, is you guys, 96 wins in your career. You guys had a great culture of winning. You're the winningest player, or tied for, in school history with some of your teammates.
Yeah.
Tell us about those guys, and just tell us about that run, and give us a little insight into what it was like to be here through that, you know, probably the best time in our program's history thus far.
Yeah, so my first year here, that was when Bobby Hurley left. He went to Arizona State, and then we got Nate Oates to come in. So we all knew. We all came in new, fresh, new head coach, new coaching staff, brand new team composed of JUCO players and 2 freshmen, me and Nick Perkins. But we just grinded, man. We just grinded, stayed together. That first year was rocky. We had no expectations, but we knew we wanted to work, and we was able to pull out a MAC championship that year. And then after that, we just kind of built on it each year. The second year, we got a little complacent. We felt like nobody could touch us, and then we got popped in the mouth in the MAC tournament to a good Kent State team. But we needed that. I'm glad that happened, and then that propelled us for the next 2 years. We won it. Junior year by a landslide, and then senior year we was able to win it again. So just staying together with those guys, we competed in practice every day. We had the right mentality and mindset. We had a great coaching staff, and it was a really fun ride.
No, that's you guys are. I mean, and I failed to mention, only MAC player on the Lou Henson Award All-Decade team, top mid-major players, and I would argue, at that time, you guys were not a mid-major team. I mean, to finish the season ranked in the top 20, to go into the tournament and beat the likes of Arizona State. You know, I know this, where I was at, when you're going to the NCAA tournament, the teams you never want to see, Buffalo's on that list. There was a short list of like, we do not want to run into Buffalo. That's a big-time team, and we know that because you were able to go in environments like West Virginia and have huge games and knock teams off on the road. And that's a credit to you guys. And I think Coach Oates and the whole coaching staff did an incredible job with you guys. To speak on that, you know, Coach Oates obviously has had a great run now, you know, post here at Alabama, and has done a great job with that program. Tell us a little bit what it was like to play for Coach Oates and be his leader. Yeah,
man. It was awesome playing for Coach Oates. He, I would say he was the coach that really taught me how to win games, you know, the mentality that it takes, you know, Early on, when we played the high majors non-conference, we would get close. We'll put up a good fight, but then we'll lose by like 4 or 5 or even like 10, and we'll have moral victories where we go to the locker room like, good job, guys. They were just, you know, bigger than us, but he was the coach that kind of flipped that mindset. Like, we don't care that they bigger. No, we don't want to come close. We want to win, and we're capable of doing it. And that mentality, it flipped for us after our sophomore year. That's when we went into arenas like Syracuse, and that was my favorite game of college. We went into Syracuse, was able to win. The year before, we ended up losing by 5, had one of those more victories. The next year, we said, we're not losing this game. So we went into Syracuse Dome and got the W. It was just an unbelievable moment. We went to the locker room. You would think that we won the NBA championship, but it was just a fun game. We had water splashing everywhere. But yeah, man, he's an unbelievable coach, and his mindset is is why he's been able to be successful over the years and continue to make leaps up. So I really thankful to Coach Oates.
Yeah, no, he's one of the best in the country. It's not a surprise what he's able to be, what he's been able to do at Alabama. And, our goal here, as we've all talked about, you're with us every day and almost every day. I shouldn't say every day, almost every day in the summer. And it's huge for our guys to be able to have a legend in the gym who understands what the grind is, like you just talked about.
Right.
To speak on a little bit of what you've seen, you've been around last summer, now this summer, I think you have an understanding about what we're trying to do. Give us some insight, good or bad or ugly, about what you see, what we're doing, what our guys are doing, and what your perspectives are based off of what our program is today.
Yeah, I see a lot of good things. I see a lot of guys that have the right attitude, that's listening to the coaching staff, that's eager to learn. We have some guys that's a little raw right now, learning how to play basketball, learning how to play hard, and it's normal. I came in as a freshman and I had some bumps in the road, but I had the mentality, and I feel like these guys are adapting the mentality. We only been here in the summer, so we still got a lot of room to grow. But I feel like guys are working hard, and we're on the right track. We have a lot of freshmen, so some guys gonna have to pick it up fast because the opportunity to play is there. When I came in, we had some upperclassmen. I clawed and scratched to get me 20 minutes a game, and then but these guys have a unique opportunity where they're competing against guys who are the same age as them. So if they want the minutes, they'll be able to get them. So no, I think we're on the right track, and I think that just keep working, keep listening to the coaching staff, and I think we should be good this year.
I hope so too, man. Yep. We got a lot of work to do, but I do believe that, one thing you talked about is we got some younger guys that are raw, but they have a lot of talent. And how do we get them to understand there's no way to simulate going into environments like a Syracuse, like a West Virginia, and especially doing it for the first time. Now, some of our guys that stayed, the 4 guys that stayed, were able to go in and play very well on the road against Butler at Butler and battle against Richmond. And, we're in some environments that I think will have us battle test on that front. As well as Noah Batchelor being at Maryland. He's seen it, right? Yeah. But these young guys, I think you've probably talked to a couple of them, and I know that some of them lean on you for advice. There's really nothing that gets you ready for that moment until you're in it, right? I mean, you could speak on that. You've been in those environments, like you just said about Coach Oates saying, we expect to be able to win, not just compete and get a moral victory, right? Have you given any advice to any of our guys on that front yet that are here now this summer?
Not on the front, as in like going into these big high major schools, powerhouses, and competing. But I just try to fill in where I see fit right now. So yeah, that's where it's at. No,
and you've done and just so everybody knows here, CJ at the end of practice, and I'm big on this. We have on our door in our locker room 1% ABC, and that means always be competing. And it's something that CJ brought last year in the summer when you stopped by and said that to our guys after practice on your own. And it resonated with me as a head coach that, there's no better way to represent what our program is all about than the former players and what they believe in. And so that's something we talk about every day with our guys. And based off of you being in the gym this summer with this group, how have we done on 1% ABC? Where do you think, have we done a good job of that in these 8 weeks?
Yeah.
We're at the end.
In my opinion, it's been really good. The guys are getting up extra shots. I came in with the guys on the weekend. There was about 5 or 6 guys in there. So yeah, I think guys are working, wanting to work, wanting to get better, and eager to learn. So I think that's the most important thing.
That's awesome. No, we again, you can't get a better way of showing what you want as a coach than having a former player come back, take pride in it like you do, and do it every day at a high level, even when you're a dad of 2, you're traveling back and forth across the world. You came back to a game this year. We won the game, so maybe you need to fly back more often. I know we had a tough year last year. You were here, and we probably played our best game of the year last year, which was awesome to do in front of you and your family. But talk to us a little bit. I think, I think the coolest part is you and Malaya, right? She was a stud athlete here.
Yeah.
It's the Olympic season now. So Malaya she owns the track 100-meter record here, right?
Yeah.
At UB. So she's a stud.
Mhm.
Have you two ever gone on the track and competed? Has that happened yet?
So we went on the indoor track in the
okay.
in the main gym, not the outdoor. We competed, and she actually beat me. This was when she was in the prime of her career. I think it was her senior year, and it was my sophomore year. My freshman year, and we competed. She won. She got a better start than me, but I think in the 100-meter I can get her. We raced in like the 60th. So
she got you on the short sprint.
Yeah.
She knew she was gonna be quicker out of the blocks.
Yeah, quicker out of the blocks.
Well, I mean, speaking of the example, everybody's path is different, but to have a guy like you come from a place, Texas, all the way to Buffalo, probably didn't know much about Buffalo when you got here, right? Which we have a lot of guys from all over the world now here.
Right.
But to meet your future wife in college here and then settle put your roots down here with your young family, little CJ, getting to be 2 years old now, and Chloe J, your daughter, just tell us a little bit about how having a family has changed your life for the better. We talk about being the best man you could be, right?
Mm-hmm.
Best player, best student, best man. And just being around you now for a couple summers and getting to spend time and talk, even when you're not here, you're the example that, the standard, hopefully, that every guy is lucky enough to meet in their playing career. They get to meet their future wife, who is a star athlete here. Mm-hmm. And then be able to raise two beautiful kids while having a really successful pro career. How has being a father impacted you as a player and made you better?
Yeah. Speaking to Malaya first, because she came before the kids.
Yeah, you know what? See, I'm a new dad. You know this, a year in now, and I've realized now the kids are more important than me, right? He's more important than me now, but it's always good to remember that, you know what? It was just us at one point.
Yeah,
right?
So, exactly.
But now go ahead, talk a little about Malaya, please.
Yeah. One thing, you never realize how much you need something until you have it. That support system is everything. You can go out and fight the world, compete. The world is competitive. Everybody wants your spot. Everybody wants what you have. And so she's always been my backbone. She's always been that support system. She keeps the house in order, and that gives me the mental clarity to go out and be the best basketball player that I can be, especially with being overseas. A lot of guys over there alone, have to cook for themselves, have to clean up for themselves, and that's a lot. It's a grind. It's a long 10-month season. You can get lonely, and how you are mentally off the court can affect how you are on the court. And she's just awesome. She keeps everything in order, and I'm able to just go out and just be myself. And then my kids, man, my two kids, they mean the world to me. Being a father, I remember we got the pregnancy test back, and I found out that Malaya was pregnant with little CJ, and something just clicked in my mind.
Did you guys find out right away if it was a boy or girl?
No, we didn't right away.
Okay.
We waited. We had the doctor write the gender on an envelope, and so we took it home. So we didn't know right away, but something just clicked in my mind, like, all right, you locked in now, but you really gotta lock in, and I haven't looked back since. It made me a better man. And so we get home, and then we looking at the envelope, and I'm like, open it. And she's like, no, you open it. And I'm like, no, you open it. So we ended up opening it together. We found out it was a boy. I picked Malaya up, put it on my shoulders, and just started spinning around. And I was just so happy. It's just, kids are such a blessing, man. They're such a blessing. Every time I get home, CJ runs to me, da, 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 da. And it's no better feeling than that.
No doubt, man. I mean, you said exactly. We actually did the same thing. Lizzie and I, we were so pumped up, and we had this envelope. She wanted me to read to her. So it was really cool. I opened it up, and I looked down, and I for sure, all my boys were saying, oh, you're having a girl. You're having a girl, which I would have loved. I was like, I want to.
Yeah.
And, all of a sudden we have a boy, and, Colin's been the joy of our life, and it's the greatest responsibility you could have. And it makes you, I think too, from my perspective, it makes you a better leader.
Yeah.
And more actually, in a weird way, professionally, a little bit more patient.
Yeah.
because I think you understand that every day, you know, you're on that grind, right? You're trying to make it. Now, somebody who can't take care of themselves yet is counting on you.
Yeah.
And your patience just goes to another level. And I think it gives you some sense of, you know, peace. You know, we had a tough season last year, but going home every day and having to show up as a father, that tests you. Yeah. And I think I can just tell, man, you and Malaya do an unbelievable job. Your kids, every time they've come around, you see them, always so happy. Little CJ, I think you're going to bring him in tomorrow to see us tomorrow and get to see the guys. But again, man, like the best experience in life is, I think, going through it, being a parent, right? Yeah. I mean, would you say, you know, what would you rank in terms of life? That being, it might be the greatest responsibility, right? Number one.
Yeah, for sure. I would say the greatest joy for me is my relationship with God, and then family, man, wife, kids, you know, parents, siblings. Then after that, you know, I think life is about people, you know, and the relationships that you build. So I would say that.
No, I agree, man. So tell us now, right? You know, obviously go through your grind in your professional career. You have a great heralded career here at Buffalo. And then, you know, you try to make the NBA, right? You go to the G League and you have a really good run with the Nets. And then obviously COVID shuts a lot of things down and changes things. Tell us what that experience is like in the G League, and now how you transitioned into your right now. I mean, just continually getting better every year, European career that you've had.
Right. Yeah, man. I'm very grateful for my G League experience. After college, I spent some time with the Nets, and I'm glad that happened then, because I saw how professionals operated on a day-to-day basis, being around guys like Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant, DeAndre Jordan. You know, those guys. Just watching them, you know, you see how much time they spend in the training room, how much time they spend in the training room after practice, before practice, ice tubs, cold tubs, icing their knees. And it really just taught me how to take care of the body, because being a professional basketball player, your body is your paycheck. And that's the thing with the college mindset. You know, we think we're invincible. I was one of the guys that fell victim to that. I didn't stretch much in college, and kind of, you know, blew off the training room. And then I suffered because my flexibility, you know, took a shot. But then being around those guys, I was able to pick it back up. And I think that has extended my career. You know, I had people telling me 2 years after college, they like, where you get bounced from? Like, how can you jump like this now? And I was like, man, I just learned how to take care of my body.
You're like, oh, these college coaches work us too hard, man. They run us too much. That's what everybody says when they become a pro.
Nah, for sure. But that G League experience, it was very humbling. You learn how to conduct yourself in a professional setting. And then I think that really set me up to have a good career overseas.
Yeah. And now, you know, so you were in Italy. What's your favorite Italian food now that you've been back?
The Italian pasta is unbelievable, man. Yeah. I'm really trying to find someone that makes it at least remotely close in the States. But
do you have an Italian spot in Buffalo that could even come close that you know of?
Nah, it's just completely different. I say Italian food is the best cuisine in the world. And then I heard a lot of people say that Turkish cuisine is right after that. So I've been getting lucky, man, going to these spots with the best food. So we'll see.
No, I heard and the Turkish league, obviously, you're going to go over there in a couple, like, how many days now? You're
2 days.
2 days. So you're heading out to Turkey in 2 days.
Yep.
Thanks for being here to spend time. I know you could be at home with the family right now, but giving back to us here, you know, what's it like getting ready, gearing up to go over there? How, you know, obviously a lot of packing at home, right? You guys live here during the off season.
Yep.
Right. And then what's that transition like for you guys? Does Malaya go over right away, or do you go over for camp? Do they meet you? How do you guys do that?
Yeah, so, man, the last 2 years have been, you know, kind of go with the flow type of thing, because my wife's been pregnant each year.
Yeah.
So she wants to have the baby in the States only because of the language barrier.
Sure.
Yeah, you know, pregnancy is like a very, you know, tough time, and you want to be able to make sure you can communicate properly with everybody. So So the last 2 years, she's been going over late because after the baby, and then the baby turns 6 weeks, then she'll fly over. So this year, she'll come with me immediately. We don't have no buns in the oven. So
there you go. So all right, you heard it here first. So we're good. We're good.
We good. So she'll come over with me immediately. So we're sending about 4 or 5 boxes tomorrow of baby clothes, winter stuff. It's just a lot of packing, and then that way the airport travel will be easier with just 2 or 3 bags, and then 2 car seats, 2 strollers. So it's tough. It's very tough. That's the hardest part of this.
I bet.
Just packing your family up, taking them over there, then bringing them back. Yeah. We're only in the States for about 2 months, 10 months over there.
Yeah, and like, you know, there's so many positives, but the hardest part is moving your whole family, moving them back, right? Missing out on some things that, you know, like, you know, friends that might not be pros in playing sports that have, you know, jobs where they go to work and they have time, normal vacations and whatnot. You don't have that yet, but you're also able to give your family experiences that, you know, some people might not ever get, right? And I know you guys don't take that for granted. So
for sure.
Do you guys have a place set up to live over there? How do they do that? Does the team set up, you know, a nice place to live and whatnot? Usually that's how it works, right?
Yeah. They'll set up a place, or you can get in contact with a realtor, cool. and then and then you guys can communicate on what you want. So when we get there, we'll be in a hotel for like the first 2 days, go on a tour of the houses, and then we'll pick what we want.
Oh, good. Yeah. Good. That's good. When you're a big time player, like you get to pick from the high end houses. I know how that works, man. So, tell us a little bit about some of your former teammates, man. Tell us, you know, is there anything about any of them we don't know? Like obviously everybody knows Big Perk.
Yeah.
Tell us something interesting about him or Devontae Jordan. You know, Devontae like is another guy we've all known here, right? Yeah. Tell us about different guys that you've met through the program or different teammates you might have had. And you know, what your experience was like with those guys. Yeah.
So I'm gonna start off with Big Perk, Nick Perkins. We came in at the same time and we turned best friends, teammates into best friends. He was my best man in my wedding. He's doing great. He has a daughter. He has a 3 or 4 year old daughter. 4-year-old daughter, and they're doing good. They just moved to North Carolina, and he just signed with a team in Taiwan. So his career is still going good. One interesting fact about Perk that a lot of people may not know is that he's a neat freak. He always kept his room like spotless. He didn't. I don't know what was up with him, but he was just a neat freak, and that's one thing that people didn't know about him. And then other guys like Devontae Jordan, Javon Graves, they doing good. They were actually teammates this year in the German league.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, they were teammates. So the basketball world is so small. And guys like Jonathan Williams and
Big Rondo Nate comes through. We see Nate during the summer. He comes through for a little bit. You know, really cool to see his success now. Signed a 2-way with the Rockets.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's got to lean on you a little bit at times to get advice. Just like, you know, I know you were his old head. Yeah. And you probably, I know, and guys I've worked with or, you know, coached that have made it. Some of the old heads say, you know, you're lucky I made you where you're at, right? You tell them, you let them know a little bit, right? Like you wouldn't be where you're at today if it wasn't for me. Do you let them know that?
No, I don't say that in specifics, but I do let Jonathan know that he can't guard me. I do let him know that.
No. I mean, and he's just to see you guys coming every day, how you guys really handle being a professional is, you know, we try to tell our guys now, CJ, if you watch what these guys do, they also have to go take care of being a man off the court. Yeah. Times 2 when you're out of college, right? You don't have anybody, you don't have 900 coaches, making sure you're where you need to be. You know, obviously you have academics here, but you have good academic support, which we're lucky to have here, right? You got to manufacture everything for yourself to make it, right? Yeah. And I think that's the biggest transition from college a lot of guys have into being a pro, right? Is all of a sudden you have a lot of free time, but you have to make sure you're on yourself to get everything done and get everything in line because you don't have coaches chasing you down or pushing you in that way, right? Was that a transition for you?
No, that's definitely accurate. Yeah, a lot of guys, it's on you at that point. After you leave college, you know, it's on you. That's your job. Everybody in America has a job and no one is like saying like, oh, you have to do this or or giving you 2 or 3 chances. In America, in corporate America, they just let you go. And that's the same way within basketball. Once it becomes your job, if you don't do what you're supposed to do, then you get cut. And I think a lot of guys struggle with that, especially with being overseas. It's because no one is really holding your hand. And then you see a lot of guys get out of shape, put on a few pounds, and then you wonder what happened to him. And he just didn't have the discipline and the willpower to stay on a steady line. And for me, that's never been an issue with me. I've always been self-determined. I've always been motivated. And I have little lapses here and there. Things get hard, but I always kind of catch myself and get back on that straight path.
No, it's great advice, man. And I think that's something, guys, you don't realize how quickly your college career goes.
Mm-hmm.
And then hopefully you have a runway of, like you said, some guys think, how do you keep getting better?
Yeah.
As a pro, it's harder for a lot of guys that transition, right?
Right.
But the guys that do have long pro careers, you usually look back and you're like, what'd you do? They took care of their bodies. Yeah. They ate well. Right. They did the things they needed to do to keep their life in order to make basketball not easier, but manageable, right? Yeah. Because every year a younger guy's coming in that wants your job, right? And it's a dog-eat-dog world there, right?
Yeah.
So it's definitely a transition period for everybody, but it's obvious you've handled it great, and we're excited to see how it keeps progressing for you. So we're really proud of you, man.
And guys don't have like long careers by luck, they have those long careers by being intentional with what they're doing. No one has a good marriage by luck. You just have to be intentional, and you have to put in the work, and then you'll reap the benefits.
No doubt. I love that. That's actually something I think I'm going to talk to our guys about is we got to be intentional with everything we do.
Yeah.
And I think if you are intentional, usually your priorities are aligned the right way, and then you could go attack what you need to attack, right? Okay, we got a few minutes quick here.
Okay.
I got to ask you some Buffalo questions, right?
Okay,
so
let's do it.
What's your wing spot, man? Where are you going, man? Where are you going?
I love this question.
What's your spot?
My favorite wing spot in Buffalo is Barbell North. Barbell North. Second is, a lot of people don't know about this.
We got a ranking system here now. I like that.
Second is, a lot of people don't know about this, Bolin Pizzeria.
Bolin Pizzeria.
Bolin Pizzeria. It's a bowling alley, but they also serve food. And it's located in, I think, West Seneca.
Okay.
And they have really good wings. And then I say third, I would have to go with, I haven't been in a while, but Elmo's.
Elmo's? Yes, right down the street here on Millersport, right?
Yeah.
And it's funny, I've gotten to see it now and experience the whole, coming from Philadelphia, it's all the cheesesteak question, right? Where's your spot?
Yeah.
And there's different varieties of why people like certain things. So, somebody might chop the meat a little thinner at one spot, or melt the cheese in there, or Cheese Whiz is better on theirs. The bread might be a little better, right?
Yeah.
Here I've found that it's how they cook the wing, right? Sometimes it's the double fried, or over at Elmo's, it's the char, right? Or specific sauces, right?
Right.
So you're going to your spot then, Barbell North.
Barbell. What's
your order?
I get Cajun honey butter barbecue.
All right. Cajun honey butter barbecue.
Yes.
I've had them.
All flat.
They're elite.
All
As
flats.
Coach Jake Prizzuti has a ranking system. We're going to go through this at some point later, but they would be considered elite.
Elite.
And that's very hard to get from a food rating system, right? And then do you blue cheese it or not?
Yeah, I blue cheese it.
You blue cheese it?
Yeah.
Have you ever made the mistake before you were an actual Buffalonian to say ranch?
Yeah, I used to say ranch all the time.
Yeah.
But the wing's so good, it don't even matter.
Right. And the blue cheese here isn't like, it's not the blue cheese I was used to.
Right.
Like something's different. I don't know yet. Nobody tells you, but it's way better than any blue cheese I've had, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And then any side on that? The waffle fries over there are pretty good usually, right?
Yeah, but my wife likes the shoestring fries.
Okay, the shoestring
so
fries.
I just let her have that.
All right, good. I get it. Let's finish up here, man. Just talking through your life, right? Give us like the two people in your life, other than anything we've already talked about, that were really the most influential to get you to this point or put you in a position really to be where you're at today.
I would say my dad, first off, because he was tough on us. We was a sports family. He he didn't play like any organized basketball, but he's one brother of 11 siblings. So he has a really big family.
Big family, yep.
And they used to go to the gym and play pickup, and they would just have a team full of his brothers, and they would just bully everybody, you know, and nobody would try them because it's like 7 of them. And so they would go play pickup, and they would bring me as a young kid.
He had his own 5v5. They could go 5v5 straight up family style. Like they actually had a sub for one team.
No, exactly. And so he used to bring me as a kid, and I used to just watch them play and be competitive and, you know, talk trash. And that kind of got into me. And I was like, man, I want to play. And they like, nah, you too small. You can't be out there. And that killed me inside. That made me who I am today. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to show y'all. Then so as I got bigger and bigger, I started to be able to compete with them guys. And compete with my uncles, not them guys, my uncles.
Right.
And then that was with anything that they did. They played pool. So my grandma and grandfather are really good at pool. So we have family pool nights. Can I play? No, you too small. Okay. 10 years later.
You skip dinner, you're working on a pool table all of a sudden. You're still like, yo, where'd this come from?
10 years later, now I'm the best at pool. And they say, CJ, you can't play, you're too good. And that's with anything. Bowling, my dad was good at bowling. So him just being well-rounded at all of these sports and me watching, anytime I see somebody do something, I try to pick it up. Ping pong, anything like that. And so I think that made me who I am today, and his influence and competitiveness, you know, has been passed down to me. And then I will also say my brother as well. He was a hardworking guy. He's not really into the sports, but he's a brainiac. And just watching him, get those academic scholarships and take steps up in his career, and you know that has motivated me as well. And he's also married with 3 kids, and so just wanted to be like my brother and dad.
That's awesome, man. Well, I know little CJ is going to have a great dad to look up to like you did, man. And, you know, it's been an honor to have you here, our first inaugural guest here on our show, man. And I know we're going to have many more times together. Just can't thank you enough. Our legend, CJ Massenburg right here. I got to give you one more round of applause.
Appreciate y'all. Thanks for having me.
We love you, man. And, you know, you're going to do us proud over in Turkey. Go do your thing over there.
Yep.
And enjoy every second of it, man.
Appreciate it, Coach.
All right. Thanks, man.